All right. Well, thank you, Elizabeth, for being here with me out in the beautiful wilderness of North Portland. Um, I am so happy to talk with you and give this time to highlight you. I've had a wonderful time working with you in Showgirl Temple. And I'm wondering if you can just start out by sharing a little bit about what life was like before you started working with Showgirl Temple.
Yes, thank you. And it's been a delight working with Showgirl Temple and with you. I just want to thank you so much. It's given me um, a wonderful opportunity to explore a different or bring out a different side of myself. And so I think for me, what life was like before Showgirl Temple was, um, I think that I hadn't really tapped into my creative side for quite some time. I was very busy with raising children. I have three boys and being married and working at actually two jobs for a very, very long time. And then, when things changed in my personal situation, it was time for me to rebuild my life. And I recognized that I hadn't really explored my artistic side, maybe ever, but certainly in quite some time. And so I started to, I like movement very much. And so I explored some art photography where there's a lot of elements of posture and movement. And also I love dance. Even as a young child, I loved dance. And I would tap into it periodically, but not consistently. And it was something that just brought me so much joy. And so I would say that's what brought me to it. But before that, it was a life that was not filled with dance. And I think there was a part of me that, a little void, if you will, because of that.
So you didn't have dance training before we.
No, it was, long, long ago. And periodically I would take classes. But long ago when I was a child, I was in dance, and then, some cheerleading and some drill team when I was in high school. And then I would dip into some dance classes every so often, but not consistently.
Mhm. And so tell us a little bit about your experience in Showgirl Temple. I, of course, got to enjoy all that with you, but.
It was so much fun. I think for me, from the beginning, I felt like it was a very safe environment on many different levels. Like, for example, just the to begin with, the physical level. I've been a lifelong exerciser and gone to many classes and dance and otherwise. And what I often find is that uh, I don't know if people are taking care of ergonomics, if it's something, and just the making sure that we're stretching safely and moving safely. And that's something that was very much a foundation of your teaching. And it's very important because if we want to do this for a lifetime, we have to take care of ourselves physically. And so I think you offering both stretching before and after, and also adjustments and modifications as we move through, that was very good. And then there's the community too, where oftentimes I I think maybe at all times I'd be in a class with other women, and it was an opportunity to develop friendships and a sense of community with them. And I think too, there's a vulnerability there too, because we're in this space, just I think just dancing. There's a lot of people who have what would I say, insecurities around being
Mhm.
seen. And we're, opening ourselves up and allowing ourselves to be seen. And this is aside from the actual burlesque moves and the striptease itself. I think that we're allowing ourselves to be seen. And that can be very frightening for people. And I think to being able to be in a safe environment to do that was very important to me, or has been very important to me, and will continue to be. And then I think too, just the sexiness of burlesque. I think just getting in touch with that fire, within us, and to see it come out in other people too. And that's just a delight to watch that, and to see people too really dive into their creativity, because in burlesque we're we're developing costumes or making our own costumes, and it's it's just from, I would say, from beginning to end, especially for preparing for the performance. It's really tapping into more than just creativity, but also commitment. And I think
Yeah.
that's important. Yeah, because you commit to it, and we're going to do this, and it's working through how we all deal with our commitments. And I think that that's important. I think to make new commitments in our lives, aside from the ones that we've traditionally had and that we're used to, that bring us outside our comfort zones and make it, I don't know if I want to do this. Maybe I don't feel like going from that.
Oh, we lost
So
you for
yeah,
a
those are
second.
some of the things that, oh,
Yeah, I think you were talking
I
about.
think that those are some of the things that have been important to me. Hello?
Hi. Yeah,
That's
it glitched for a second.
okay.
You were talking about the importance of keeping a commitment and showing up for yourself.
Right. And I hope, and so I think it's important to show up for ourselves, but also for for the group too.
Mm.
And I think there's times that we don't want to appear and practice, but we do. And there's a benefit in doing that too and pushing through that. And then, and also to understand too that others are relying upon us because we've made this commitment and we're performing as a group. I think those are good lessons to learn. And also when we don't show up, what do we learn from that? And I think that that's been something that I've learned.
Oh, I'm curious
Uh,
about that part. What have you learned when you don't show up?
well, what I've learned when I don't show up is that, first of all, I've learned to plan ahead as much as I can and be strategic in my planning. So I tend to be a person that gets very excited about something. And I think, this is it. This is so great. And then I'm in it and I realize, oh my gosh, I've taken on too much. I've done, and so to be more mindful when I initially make a commitment, especially a longer term commitment, and especially once a commitment where other people are relying upon me, that I'm a piece of that, right? So I think that's been a wonderful lesson. And just before the commitment even begins, consider it, and then I think what I learned about when I don't show up is that, well, there's other people relying on me. And especially if it's a group of people that are performing together, I mean, you're an important piece of that. There's a gap, there's a hole in the, in the group. And yes, people can work around it, but there's a lot of times you're relying upon each other and a presence. And also, not just in the choreography itself, but your presence in that group. And whether you say you're, anything at all, whether you just come, you dance, and you go, you're still a presence in that group. And you're missed if you're not there. So I think that's what I learned.
Yeah, absolutely. And so now that you've had a few opportunities of performing with Showgirl Temple, and we're actually getting set to go a little bit deeper into some other more mindfulness works, but where are you now with your life?
Well, I actually feel I'm in a good place in my life now, and I attribute it to, actually, very much so. I attribute it to my journey with Showgirl Temple. I feel like being able, I have in the last several years been focusing on, celebrating the divine feminine, really within all of us. Divine masculine's great too, and I think we should celebrate that. But I think, just a focus area on developing community with other women, and I feel like there's an openness in Showgirl Temple to celebrate the feminine and celebrate one another, and our bodies and our souls. And I think that's transcended the class environment, because I see myself, like yesterday I was with 3 little girls, 2 adult friends, female dog, and I was joking, and we were over at a friend's house, and I said, it's like we're the village of women, the Amazons, and just really appreciating women and all the beauty that they just the beauty they bring, to the world. And I think that Showgirl Temple has helped me recognize that and appreciate it even more than I did before.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's
That makes me
good.
so happy. Yeah, it is. It's so important to see and uplift other women all the time.
it it is. It
Yeah.
is very much so.
And is there any last things you'd like to share with folks out there who might be considering working with Showgirl Temple?
Well, I would just say that it is I highly recommend it. It's a transformational experience beyond the choreography is what I would say. Beyond the choreography, it is a transformational experience and a celebration of self and of femininity. And I think it's been a life changer for me.
Mm, I'm not crying. Crying, you're
I
crying.
am. I am.
You know how I am. I'll start crying. Don't start crying. I'll cry. Oh, lovely. I'm so happy to hear that, and
Yeah.
I am thankful for you showing up and being who you are, and for sharing these reflections with us. I'm so excited to continue working with you and dive a little bit deeper into the personal transformation part as we step into our new program. And I looking forward to the time we can get on stages again and we can have more of those really sassy, fun group acts.
Oh, absolutely. Well, if the time will come again, but I also think too, you offering having offerings via Zoom has been a wonderful way to continue to connect with community because it's a challenging time. I think if I didn't have that, I would feel I'd feel pretty isolated. So it's you know, been wonderful that you've been able to just leverage the technology and continue to put together classes. So
Oh,
that's been a
yay.
gift. Yeah.
Yay. Oh, good. I'm glad. It's, technology is not my forte. So the battle has been worth it, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm looking forward to the class in June. Well, this month, what am I saying? It is
I
June.
know. It's
Yeah, it's
a
going to
couple
be
weeks.
great.
Yeah, I'm excited. All right. Well, I'm going to sign off of there. Thank you again so much for being part of this with me.
Delightful to talk with you. And I'm looking forward to, continuing our journey.